The Indiana Pacers and the Utah Jazz were neck and neck, making the curve. And all of a sudden, the Jazz realized they had a Yugo, and the Pacers had a Porsche. And that was that. It's next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Utah Jazz fall to the Indiana Pacers tonight by the final score of 140-112. Actually, a closer game than that most of the way. David Locke, along with Ron Boone, your Utah Jazz radio team. We're going to take it back to the early part of this ball game. Some of the things the Jazz did very, very well tonight. Some of our guys might be a bit shook after 15 block shots by their 17 block shots by the Pacers. We'll look at that, and as always, we'll give out our reliability pluses as well here on the broadcast today as the Utah Jazz fall for the 62nd time. And the Jazz tonight, Ron, they led the game by 6 at the end of 1. They really played well defensively. They held the Pacers down to a 102. Halftime, they were up by 2. Fourth quarter, we went into it. They were down by just 4, and then, boom, they made the turn, and we didn't. Our wheels fell off. Our engine stopped running. They were cruising. Let's go back early. That was as good a first quarter defensively as we've seen from the Utah Jazz all year.
Without a doubt, and everything seemed to be working, and it helps to make shots. You know, obviously, Johnny, 4 3-point shots here in that first quarter, and that separated the two between the Jazz and the Pacers. But I thought they were doing a very good job. Defensively, they wasn't that bad there as well, but they kept attacking. The game plan seemed to be working there in that first half because the spacing was there and they were able to get some 3-point looks. And as a result, even after the third quarter, only down 4.
The Jazz had only allowed the Pacers, who are regularly in transition, 20% of the time. Pacers are the third fastest team into their first action, 5th fastest team across half court, 7th fastest team in possessions. They play with a lot of pace. The Jazz really didn't let them get into their pace in the first half. They were only in transition 16% of the time. They're actually only in transition 18% of the time tonight. They ended up annihilating the Jazz in the half-court run. Their half-court offensive rating was a 120, and the numbers in the second half are a bit startling. The Jazz allowed the Pacers to shoot 29 of 43 from the field in the second half of this game. 29 of 43, and they were running down their throat, but even in the half court, they were just getting where they needed to be.
So what's that have come out to? 71%. And
wow.
You don't win a lot of basketball games when you give up that kind of a percentage. So the question I think you and I talked about was, does the style of play of the Pacers end up wearing you down in the second half, third quarter, fourth quarter? The Jazz only get 18 points.
I mean, I think we've just seen, and I think we have to be fair to our guys a little bit about this. Like, if you were to hold a draft tonight of the starting fives, you're taking every Pacer over every Jazz player to start, right? And this is, I mean, they're the 4th team in the East. This is not a criticism of our guys, but that's the truth. And I do think that yes, the Pacers style wears them down, but I also think the Jazz are worn down right now. I think that's what we're seeing out of Kyle and some other guys is I think they've been overwhelmed, and they're getting in these matchups, and they're the inferior physical specimen athlete for the night or basketball player. And if you go to the gym every single day for pickup and you're playing guys that are better than you for 3 weeks straight, it gets old.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. And true enough, you're gaining experience, but sooner or later, you just have to figure out, I got to be better. And sometimes it just overwhelms you enough to where you're trying to make plays, or you're trying to do some of the same thing that they're doing, and it's not working. You're trying to get away with some of the things that were working in college, like Kyle right now. And he's getting overwhelmed, but with some pretty good players that he's going up against.
Few guys are overwhelmed. Ron mentioned one of them. We'll talk about them here in a few seconds. Tonight's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Frankly, a few of our guys look like they might need a little 5 Hour Energy before we head into Atlanta to give them a little boost along the way. 5 Hour Energy, whether it's late night basketball games you're watching, pickup games wearing you out, whatever it might be. Get your 5-hour energy, whether it's getting it a quick little jolt for you with you, or get them at the local grocery store, or pick them up and get them ordered for you at home. When you're traveling or wherever it might be, go to 5hourenergy.com and find out over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue, raspberry, peach, mango. You can build your own 12 or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at the local grocery store, convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5-hour energy. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. Final days of the NCAA tournament. You can get into the action with FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use for your betting when the first $5 bet wins. So you get to cut down the nets with your victories. Find an underdog you might like. A little baseball action as well. FanDuel app is simple to use. And when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get into the action. Final days of tournament. It is FanDuel.com. All right, let's talk about Kyle Filipowski. Tonight he went 0 for 6 from 3. He was working on his three-point shooting with Will Hardy before the game today. Looked like he was working hard, trying to get it right. He is, I believe, was 0 for 7 or 8 the other night. Missed his last one. I think he's missed about 15 in a row. I think he's about 4 for his last 30 from 3. But more than the threes tonight was when he went to the basket. Miles Turner eradicated him time and time again. He missed 6 the other night. So he is 0 for his last 13 from 3. Take it back a little bit. He is 4 of his last 33, I think. But I think that's the block shots tonight. I'm going to guess are probably a little bit more in his head than anything else. Miles Turner really owned him today when he tried to get to the basket.
It really did, and it's frustrating can it be when you pull one of your sweet moves, and you think you got a clear layup to the basket, and all of a sudden, boom, it gets blocked. And then it happens again there in the same quarter, but 2 or 3 plays later. And then what do? You start looking for him. And when he's not there, you're not concentrating on making the basket there as well.
On his last drive, I thought he was going with his left hand. He might have been going with his right. I think he was going with his left hand, but maybe it was right. It doesn't matter. He was going with the correct hand. He had Miles Turner on the other shoulder. Kyle Filipowski is 7 feet tall. Do you think ever in his life he's gone to the basket, risen up on the correct side, had the defender on the correct side, and got his shot blocked?
No, probably not, but you got to really give Miles Turner credit for that, because in order to make something happen, you have to elevate pretty high, because Kyle did everything right, except maybe he didn't put the shoulder into Miles Turner to the point where if you don't put a shoulder into a guy and make contact, he's going to be able to elevate a lot higher. And that means you're going to get your shot blocked because you're not making contact where you can finish. And he got a shot blocked twice.
You know what? Actually, I was just thinking about this. I watched Kyle play Baylor last year and play Misi, who's the center for New Orleans now.
Oh, gotcha.
I think he might have got him on a few as well in that game, if I remember well. Isaiah Collier goes 5-15, 0-4. He's I don't know what my thoughts on him tonight were. He played with a lot of tempo and a lot of energy, but he also missed about 3 or 4 layups. And I just thought, and then he's not making that shot. Like, I thought he looked a little shell-shocked as well tonight. I thought our young guys all looked shell-shocked tonight.
I thought the fourth quarter, I don't know if they were tired or not, but it was a lot of just wasn't getting it done. Anytime you get just demolished like that in the fourth quarter, the first 3 quarters I thought was great.
Yeah,
fourth quarter was terrible.
They only done 4 going in the fourth quarter. They really played super defense, moved the basketball, played with the tempo. They've not been a very good shooting team, and they're able to hold it together. They have the worst offense in the NBA over the last 15 games, and by the end they shot 38%, 31 from 3. Johnny Juzang carried them early. He's getting a lot of time and scoring double figures almost every night.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that the catch and shoot is very quick, and he gets it off, and you know, some guys, and I don't know if you're probably not going to agree. Well, you're probably going to agree with me. Some guys shoot to make shots, and then there's some guys that shoot. And I think there's a couple of players on this team that just shoot. and Johnny shoots to make shots. His
That's
follow through is there, and he's pretty much on line all the time. Kind of reminds me of one of my favorite shooters who played for the Jazz, Jeff Hornacek.
It's a really interesting
He very
concept.
seldom missed by much when he shot.
Guys that just shoot to shoot.
Well, you just shoot.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know if you can. If I feel that when I see some guys shoot, I mean, he's open. I'm gonna shoot it.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't.
Usually doesn't.
Yeah.
Reliability pluses.
You know, can we give it up for 3 quarters?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's give it up.
Well.
I thought the whole team played very, very well for 3 quarters. I mean, and as well as be expected against a team that's in the playoffs that is pretty consistent. So if
we shot 4 of 19 in the fourth quarter and 1 of 10 from 3, so really we cannot give any reliability.
The fourth quarter was just it was ugly.
Outscored 42-18.
So if we want to give it out for 3 quarters, David, we can give it out to Bourne. I really enjoyed the starting 5 in that first.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
you're
really,
very giving.
Even though the plus minus is. The first 3 quarters I thought was pretty solid.
Wow, look at you!
I mean, you're only 4 points down.
You're a lover and a giver and a carer. Yeah. You're so sweet. He gave the starting 5 reliability pluses.
Well, we can talk about that because we don't have to. You know,
Bryce got 10 rebounds.
Sensabaugh probably didn't deserve one.
But he got 10 rebounds tonight.
Yeah,
and he didn't get any of those in the fourth quarter. So I can go there. Johnny, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with the Kyle concept. I thought that was pretty rough for him tonight.
Okay, well, let's skip him.
And
I agree with that.
Is doing Colin Sexton things, whatever those might be, and Isaiah Collier, sure. Great.
Okay. So you're saying?
I'm agreeing with you. Dude, we got 4 of these things left. I'm not about to get in a fight with you now.
Okay.
It's the Jazz Postcast. Thank you very much for tuning on behalf of Ron Boone. I'm David Locke. Go check out the national NBA feed on Locked on NBA and check out Game Night. Every night, every game on Locked on NBA. Have a good one.